Hi friends. Welcome to Wild Cottage. This is Shem. My name is Susan and I live here in the west of Ireland in the hills of County Clare with my partner, fiance Tom, and our other rescue dog Mimi. They're outside chopping wood. Hi. And I'm filming inside today because it's actually a beautiful day, but it's windy and there's noises of chopping wood. And I really wanted to get a podcast in before I start the Vlogmas. So, yes. Okay, so he will lay down in a minute beside me. So this is my knitting podcast. Today is Friday, November 25th. It's the day after Thanksgiving in the US, if you celebrated that. And we're just having, a cozy day at home like we do most days. And so in this podcast, I have 3 finished garments. This is one of them. And I have 2 other jumpers. And I'll show you those. I have way too many WIPs, too many works in progresses. I'll show you the goats, the wild goats that are here, and also I'll talk a bit about the mystery goats that were here a few years ago, and I just saw them again recently. So if you are like a total OG that I used to be on Twitter a lot as Wild Cottage. I haven't for years, but we had the whole mystery goat saga on Twitter. I don't know if any of you have transitioned to watching the knitting podcast, but I have an update on the mystery goats. So let me just set the scene for Wild Cottage. So we are in the hills of County Clare, which is in the west of Ireland. We're not super far from the coast. Probably, it takes longer to drive there than if you were a crow and could fly, and that's because of all the little laneways. But if you were a crow and you could fly, I suppose we're about 20 miles from the coast, so that's really fantastic. It's really quite rural. We don't have any neighbors that live here. The closest one is a kilometer away, so there are lots of wildlife here. So we have what we like to call a small holding for nature, where we garden, we grow basically all our own vegetables, but we do it in a way that's very cognizant of nature, wildlife and soil life and all those sort of things. And we also have a natural dyes garden, and we encourage wildflowers and all this sort of thing. We have bat roosts for the endangered bat, and this is a hen harrier area, which is Ireland's most endangered bird of prey. So we're just really, really privileged to be able to live here, and we're so thankful. And we've been doing different little works inside the cottage because it's needed a lot of work. We're not done, but I might show you at the end, if you're interested in the life stuff section, some of the things that we've just gotten done. Put as much information as I possibly can in the drop-down bar with links. If I've forgotten anything, please kindly just let me know in the comments if there's something you want to know and I haven't put it in. There should be timestamps so that you can skip to something that you're super interested in. Here comes the crew. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi. Yeah, I know. I'm doing a podcast. Yeah, what's happening? Oh, let me show you something. So Tom got me the thing I'm holding behind my back, and from the very moment she saw it, she's been obsessed with it. And she's not obsessed with other cuddly toys, but she loves this. It's one of those really long hot water bottles. Sorry, it cut off my head. It's like a monkey, and she loves it. And she knows to be gentle. She just licks it. It's really long. It's one of those really long hot water bottles. Do you love the monkey? I love you. And she goes in, so it's often just I keep it on the bed. And she goes, let me sit down. She goes into the bedroom, and she never goes into the bedroom unless we're there. And she'll go in there and look at it. So I think it's Aldi has got some dog toys coming up on the 1st of December. And some of the ones, there's like a llama and stuff. And they have really long necks like this. So we might buy her one to see if she likes that. Yeah, is this your monkey? Is your monkey? Try to get into the podcast now. We've had so many interruptions. All right, so let me just start here with saying that I have 4 finished objects. 3 of them are garments, and 1 is a pair of socks that is going to be released very soon. And I have made some video showing you what the garments look like on me. They are, and I'm wearing this one now, so here's what I'm wearing. This is the Soleillo top by Nicole Michelle Time Weaver here on YouTube. Her patterns are on Ravelry and on Ko-Fi, and she also makes stitch markers that are really lovely out of semi-precious stones. And this is a wonderful size inclusive pattern. I really like it. I'm definitely going to make some more of these. So let me show you the first finished object. Now this is my version, because I messed up, of the Soleillo top, summer top by Time Weaver, Nicole Michelle. It's a paid for pattern. You can get it on Ko-Fi or Ravelry. It's not very expensive. You know, I think it's around the €5 mark. It's very, very size inclusive because you take your measurements and then you plug in your numbers with the pattern repeat. Nicole has several already done out for you, but she gives you the formula so you can pop in your own numbers, and also she's available to help you if you are confused and you just need a little help. So it was super easy. I only messed it up because I did the front panel, which was great, but I set it down because I was unable to knit for several months. And when I picked it up again to do the back panel, I just had a major brain fart and did all my numbers wrong. So my back panel was quite a different size. But luckily the way the pattern is where you can seam it up the side. But because the pattern was that way, I was able to adjust it. Also, I did the neck a little bit different, again, because I had extra fabric. But actually, I love this kind of neck. Because I like a loose neck. I don't like a crew neck on me at all. So I love this. But yeah, it's a very easy, fun pattern. And it's perfect for minis. So if you've got Advent minis or scraps or whatever, these are all minis from Vera Yarns Design, who designs here in Ireland. She's over in Dublin. She ships internationally, and I got a pack of her minis, and I just love this. And I am going to make some more of these for next summer, because I have a lot of lovely minis. So what I did is I did the split hem just because of the way I messed up. I made a split hem, and it's a bit longer in the back. But so I'll do a little turn. And again, as always, disclaimer, I have scoliosis. I have an S curve, so things can look more lopsided on me. I'm trying to stand a little bit straighter for you so you get a better idea what the jumper might look like on you. Here is the neckline that I did, and I chose to use this dark purple as my neckline, and also my seaming, which I did real messy, because I don't mind that. But you could do it really nicely, and Nicole has she's done hers in yellow, and it's really lovely in her sample. Here's the spin. Okay, so that's what it looks like on me. And again, it was a very easy pattern, really fun. You might find it like me, that you just want to knit loads of them. And yeah, just keep a track of what numbers you've actually plugged in. Or if you don't and you mess up, sure, look, it's really salvageable. I don't think anyone, I don't look at that and go, oh God, I really messed that up. I'm actually really quite happy with it. Okay, so my next finished object is a ranunculus. I'm using Vera Yarns Designs yarn again. This is her high twist merino colorway Abracadabra, and this is her kid mohair silk in the colorway Abracadabra. And fingering weight for this one there. And so because it's high twist, it's a bit heavier. So in the 100 grams, you get I think 365 meters. And normally for ranunculus, I can get kind of the summer weight, pardon me, ranunculus out of one skein of fingering weight yarn if it's around 400 meters. But because this one was a bit shorter, also I wanted it a bit longer because it's winter, I decided to hold the mohair double. This is the first time I've kind of deviated this way from the pattern. This is also my first time knitting the pattern since it's been updated to be really size inclusive. Now, I knitted the size 1. I knitted, pardon me, because I wanted it more fitting, because it was going to be more wintry, I knitted it on 5.5 needles. So I knit collar bit in the fingering weight, then I held the mohair double, and then I was trying to do, I didn't quite get it figured out right. I was thinking it would kind of be cute if it looked like it was straps here. I mean, and it does, it kind of looks like falling down straps, which is fine. There's not, I didn't figure that out properly. That's okay. But yeah, so I did most of the yoke. I should have just went ahead and did all of the yoke, and then that would have been solid. I had enough yarn for that. So yeah, I really like it. Sorry about that end. And I knitted a bit longer than the pattern. I will put the information about that in the down bar or on the screen. I'm also trying to start to be good about keeping my Ravelry page. If you have a question and you can't use Ravelry, just leave a comment down below and I'll try to answer that. But yeah, so I'm trying to keep those notes up. So if you're interested and I've forgotten to say something, or you can pop over to the Ravelry and see like how long did I actually knit this. So I'm just under 5'2". Yes, just for reference, my bust size is a 38, and I think my hips are like, what are they, like 42 or something, and anyways, I don't remember, but it's barely fitted. So size 1 with the 5.5 needle gave me something that I liked, and I know I knit it a bit longer than the pattern said. So like, this is my belly button. That's the top of these jeans. And so I'll do a little twirl so you can see kind of where it hits on me. And, you know, I can raise up my arms and it doesn't go anywhere, which is what you particularly want in the winter time. So yeah, I'm really happy with this. I love all the bright colors, and I just wear like a little tank underneath if I want. I don't really have to. And I wouldn't if I was wearing it in here because it's too hot. Okay, one more. This was, if you've been following since last Vlogmas, you may remember this. This is the Stay Pull sweater by Park Williams of Park and Knit. And it was Sarah of Day to Day Knits that was starting to knit this, and we had like a little knit along. And I was doing great with it. I love the pattern. It's really fun because you hold together different weights of yarn to make like a bulky. And she gives you in the pattern, which is you have to pay for this pattern. She gives you like all the different combinations of weights of yarn that you can hold together to make this pattern. But I love this because to me, it's like the fairy lights on the tree. I know the main base yarn and the solid color is from Melissa of Knitting the Stashes, her farm yarn online website. And this was from one of the farms. I think it's Seven Sisters Farm or Five Sisters Farm. I think there are 2 farms called that, but it's their Wensleydale in different jewel tones. So there was like a purple, a blue, and a pink. And then I held together a lot of other yarns and sparkly yarns. Some were Expression Fiber Arts. One was from Mad Scientist Yarns, which is over in the UK. Expression Fiber Arts is in the US. So I had gotten these yarns when I was in the US in October last year with my dad. So yeah, so this was really fun. It was quick. It was easy. But what had happened is I started knitting the second sleeve inside out, and I was just like, how did I do that? And I was just a total brain fart. And I just, you know, I had so many lovely commenters. You all helped me. But I parked it. Like it hibernated. I was like, oh. And so this autumn, I picked it back up, finished the sleeve. It was super easy. You know, I fixed it. I just didn't have the brain space for it at the time. And I love it. Now, I can't remember if I knit it sort of bracelet length on purpose or if I just got tired of knitting the sleeves and so I stopped, which is entirely possible. But yeah, but I'm happy enough with that. It's it's not, somebody commented, I remember, said, oh, that's going to be really heavy, but it's not. I mean, it's a heavier weight because it's got several, but it doesn't feel heavy, but it's nice and warm. Like, I just run hot. I'm a woman of a certain age, and even though I'm past the menopause, I don't have hot flashes anymore, but I just run hot. And part of that is from my fibromyalgia. But I would never wear this inside unless it was really cold. Like, our bathroom is currently about 11 degrees, which is like 51 Fahrenheit, because we don't have the heating on in there and we haven't turned it on at all. So I put in there when I go in the bathroom. Yeah. Anyways, but in here with the wood stove, it's like, yeah, I haven't taken this off. But I'll do you the twirl first. And again, I recommend this pattern. It's lots of fun. If I lift up, I could have knit it longer, but I didn't. If I lift up, there it would be belly showing, but you know, I have my tank top tucked in. But so this is kind of how it rises up if you lift up at the length that I did. And again, I'll try to put that in the notes just for reference, you know, if you're about 5'2" as well. But yeah, it's a really cute length. I like this length on me. And also when you lift up, unlike when I did my very first ranunculus, that when I would put my arms down after the ranunculus, because it was so lightweight, it would kind of just like hang out here, and I didn't like that. But this one goes back down, so it's fine. Yeah, but if you want to keep, you know, your lower back warm, you know, when you sit and, you know, your jeans go down and your top kind of goes up. So if you didn't want that, you know, being cold, you could just knit it longer. But anyways, isn't it fun? I don't think you can see the sparkles. So, yeah. But yeah, so this is the Stay Pull Sweater by Park Williams of Park and Knit. And again, fun pattern. And I recommend it. I think that, oh, one other thing, I think it's a raglan. So it's a raglan. And I have a feeling I didn't knit the collar as high up as maybe the pattern said, because again, I don't like that. I love the way it's not round, because just with my face shape, I like on me a bit more of a V-neck or a pointier collar. So yeah, so that was maybe possibly a modification that I made. I just didn't knit the collar as thickly. And I like it too, because I don't like ribbing to come in tightly. This is the largest part on me because I'm a pear. And I don't like ribbing on jumpers. I don't want to cinch in here because it just like, it's awful. I really don't like that look for it to cling here. So I like the fact that there was only a little bit of ribbing. And it flipped like that when I was kind of knitting it. But once I blocked it, it didn't flip. And I think that's actually what she has in the pattern. I think it's like you do a ribbing of like 1.5 centimeters. So that's like, no, that can't be right. Maybe 1.5 inches. Anyway, yeah, so I really like this. Now let's go into works in progress WIPs. So I have, my first one is one that I've been working on throughout the year. And it is from my yarn Advent that I got last year, 2021, Christmas 2021. And that was the one that featured in my Vlogmas last year. And let me just speak quickly about, I'm going to do Vlogmas again this year because I really enjoy it. I love the holiday season. Just, yeah, I love all the things about it. I know it can be hard. I've had hard ones. We all have. And I just hope that my Vlogmas will be a little bright spot for everyone if you so wish to watch. It's going to be crafting focused and probably some nature places here in Ireland focused. We live about 20 miles from the sea, the Atlantic Ocean, here in County Clare. There's the Burren, there are castles, there's all sorts of things. So my idea is that this year I might open my little mini skein each day somewhere different. So whether it's somewhere different as in, sorry, my yarn ball, around the cottage, around Wild Cottage here, or farther about here and there in Clare, sometimes maybe in Ennis, which is the medieval city. We might go for a little drive there with the Christmas lights. Anyways, just so you can see that. So it's going to be crafting and a bit of seeing things. Although I am actually drinking a coffee now, you are not going to have to watch me make my morning coffee. I'm sure you'll see plenty of that on other Vlogmases. I just have my coffee here in case my throat gets dry. Might be a little baking. I did some of that last year, but yeah. So it's mainly just going to be crafting and cozy and a little bit of Irish stuff here in Ireland. Yeah, and of course there'll probably be dogs. So anyways, that'll be my Vlogmas. I don't know that I'll get one uploaded every day, but yeah. So this is the skeins. These are the skeins, the mini skeins from my Robin's Promise yarn advent calendar last year, which was based off of the Night Before Christmas book with the vintage 1969 version that she had as a child, and so did I. So that was just so thrilling because I still have that book and I showed it on the podcast. And she actually did such a wonderful thing. She went through the book and dyed the skeins from the pictures. So it wasn't just inspired by the colors matched up. So we went through each day and looked and found the skein that matched the picture. It was so fun. I mean, that was super, super special. So I'm knitting that up. And what I decided to do was just to knit a half and half triangle wrap with it, just to use sort of as a throw around Christmas time. So I have, it was a 24 set mini skein, and I think I have 5 more to go after I finish this one. So this is the one half. And it's hard to show. So I suppose like if you were to fold it to the one half, this is the second half here. And we're getting into some lovely reds and all. And then this was the first half that I did. So we have all these kind of little vintage Christmassy colors that were in the book. And they have a pattern out now for doing the half and half, by Espace Tricot, Pearl Soho. It's a free pattern on their website. It's super easy. I do the way that Caddy Jacks has some tutorial videos if you just want to do German short rows instead of the wrap and turn. So that's what I'm doing. But I did this before they talked about doing it in stripes, and I just knit until I ran out. And I did use a magic knot ball. I had a bad disaster with the magic knot ball before, but I think it was because I wasn't tying all the bits correctly. But I'm just going to be very gentle when I wash this and not put it on any kind of spin just in case. But yeah, so this is how it's starting to knit up, and it's a very easy, mindless knit. I'm trying to get it done before December 1st just so I have it, because my Advent that I'm getting this year is from one of my favorite Irish based yarn dyers, Vera's Yarn Designs, and her Pastel Sunset is the name of the theme. And I'm not usually a pastels person, but I love her colors, so I think it's going to be good. And she had a pre-order in that in January, and I ordered it straight away. And then I didn't plan on getting another Advent, but I did because Time Weaver, Nicole, that I spoke about with this top, has gotten together with her friend Antonio of Beagle Knits, and he's also a designer. And they have a new project called Save the Sheep, where they are focusing on small farms and rare breeds, and having, getting the yarn that is made from the wool of that rare breed sheep, and they've made an advent calendar with it. So I think it's 6 skeins and then 1 or 2 little extras. And there's a pattern with a mystery knit along that comes along with it. So mine should come soon. I actually told her, I said, send mine out kind of last. Make sure, dye the other ones up because she's naturally dyeing them. I don't think I said that. I said, because that's fine, get all the other customers out of the way. So yeah, so I bought that as soon as she sort of announced it a few months ago. And I'm really super excited. The breed is, I think, Rossellais. And if I'm not mistaken, it's from the Italian Alps. And so they are based in Spain. So Antonio is the Spanish speaker, and well, so is Michelle, but she also speaks English. She's a US expat from New York. And so they've got this project, and this is the first iteration of the project. And I really love sheep breeds, and especially, rarer, endangered breeds of sheep. So I was all over that, and I had to buy that. So I imagine that's going to be coming any day now. And so I'll be, doing that mystery knit along. And so I kind of wanted to get this off the needle so I can do that mystery knit along. Also, I really overdid it with the knitting this Christmas. I also bought the pattern by Pia Trans of 50 Fabulous Knits here on YouTube, the Jericho's Rose jumper, which is an Advent jumper. And you knit it from bottom up. So we're knitting it now, and then that way, if you're opening and you want to knit your yarns on December 1st, the body is ready, and it's a color work. Sorry, I didn't say that. Color work jumper, and the body is ready so you can cast on. You can start knitting your Advents, or you can do it in scraps, or you can do what I'm doing. So first I was going to do it with the Advent set that I got my first ever 2 years ago from Giddy Aunt Yarns. But then, which is a lovely DK set. So it's written for DK, but of course you can hold two fingers together. But then I saw Sandra of Meet the Wool and Irish Fiber Crafters dyed up some beautiful naturally dyed skeins of the Galway wool, which is our Irish traditional sheep breed here. And I was already knitting the body out of the Galway wool, again, naturally dyed by Sandra for me from the bark from my special grandmother oak tree. Now, she had an accident and lost a good bit of, about a third of her, some really big branches. And so I had salvaged some of the bark that had fallen, and Sandra dyed up some wool for me. So that's what the sleeves and the main body are going to be. This is the color. So that's dyed with the oak bark. And I have the first two sleeves done. Now, Galway is a rustic wool. It is not superwash. These skeins are in DK weight. But what I found was, as I saw that, this is not an ad. I'm not sponsored by anyone. I pay for all these things myself. But I saw that Eucalan wool wash, and I never use wool wash. I just use like my organic hair shampoo. But that, this is why I need coffee. I saw that their wool wash, being no rinse, also has lanolin in it. So that replaces some of the lanolin that comes out of the sheep's wool when there's been a lot of processing. So, and that's sort of the thing that keeps it soft, and also helps to make it waterproof and weatherproof and super great. So I thought I'll get some of that and try it, especially for these more rustic wools. Now, I'm fine with rustic wools, but not everyone is. And I'm just saying this as a tip. So I got some of that Eucalan, and I washed my first sleeve of the Galway in it after I finished it. And I can feel a difference. And I had put this on my arm. Now, this is very sensitive skin. Also keeping in mind that, I'm someone who is not sensitive to wool. I did. Did I? I did. Oh my goodness, my waist yarn, I just broke it. And thankfully it's a rustic wool. These stitches aren't going anywhere. But anyway, I haven't washed this one in the Eucalan, but I can feel the difference between the one I washed with the Eucalan and even just the one wash. And I imagine, as you wash and wear, you'll notice it even more. I notice the difference. This feels softer. Or it's still rustic, but it doesn't feel, this is definitely feels pricklier. but the lanolin is sort of smoothing that down and softening it. So try it. Try it and see what you think of yourself, of it yourself. So my 2 sleeves are done. I've done a few centimeters less of the ribbing just because that's what I kind of like. And now I've started on the bottom. This is my first bottom-up jumper. I was watching somebody on podcast and they were talking about, you know, bottom-up jumpers and the cast on being the work of the devil. I can't remember if it was, I found a fantastic new podcast, particularly if you're into wool and spinning and sheep breeds, which is called Starlight and Stitches. And her name's just gone out of my mind. She's just had her first podcast. And I highly, highly, highly recommend it. It might have been her talking about that. But anyway, so yeah, this was my first bottom-up jumper. And putting on all the stitches and then knitting the ribbing, which, yeah, I only did a little bit of ribbing because I think I talked about it in one of my videos where I'm wearing the stay pool jumper. Yeah, I don't like ribbing around my bottom half. And a lot of times you'll see on my ranunculi, that I don't do the ribbing. I did on the first one, and ever since I don't do the ribbing, and I just let it curl up that little bit like the stockinette does, and I like that. But this, I just put a little bit of ribbing in, and sometimes when you only put a little ribbing in, it does flip when you're knitting it, but I found that it blocks out. So that's what I've done. And I'm just then knitting, you know, straight. I started off with, she has you do your ribbing and then add stitches when you've done with your ribbing, some increases. But I don't, like I said, I don't think I want that. And so I just cast on for that, this amount of stitches you end up with in the body here. I just cast that on straight away. And so we'll see if I actually do like it like I think I do. So, and then you knit a certain amount till you get to the yoke. So that's my main base color. I don't think I have enough of that. I mean, because this is, I only have this ball left, but I also have a skein, a small bit of the Galway wool that I dyed with, again, myself. I just had grandmother's oak bark sitting outside in a bucket that got rained on for like several months. And then one day I took a little bit of this Galway wool and I stuck it in that bucket for 24 hours. So like freezing cold water. And then I said, I just want to see what it take, because oak bark has tannin, so you don't need a mordant and it'll take. So I took it out, rinsed it and all, and it gave it a nice little color for like 0 effort. So I thought what I'll do is I'll transition from, you know, the oak bark dyed, you know, with the heat, and then the total lazy old cold water oak bark dye into, then if I need to, the white. So this is just the natural color of the Galway breed wool. So it'll be like this. And definitely at Irish Fiber Crafters, Sandra has, I don't know, she's got more of the oak bark because I gave her plenty. She's going to dye more up. But she's got a lot of other beautiful naturally dyed skeins and some acid dye skeins there of the Galway and other sheep breeds from that live in Ireland. So Irish Fiber Crafters is, you know, big on wool that actually lived in Ireland. The sheep live in Ireland. And also some of the traditional breeds, well, the traditional breed and also the Belclare sheep breed, which is a modern Irish breed. And so there's some of that dyed up and some of Sandra's own sheep wool that she's spun. Anyways, yeah, exciting times. So what I've done is the pattern is 6 repeats of 4 colors. Well, the pattern is 6 repeats and it's sort of 4 colors in that repeat, and then you just add as you go. But I'm doing it a little bit differently for my Advent because I'm not an Advent. The colors that Sandra posted that I was like, oh my goodness, I love these, are these. And they just look to me so sort of natural, festive colors. So I really was like, I want to incorporate these. And these are all on the Galway wool. These two are dyed with lac, L-A-C. That's some kind, it's not a native dye, like it's not one, because in our dye garden here, Sandra will bring the workshop groups, the natural dyeing workshop groups, and they forage and pick, they forage sustainably and harvest from our dye garden things to dye with. This is some, you know, that like you just order online, a powder or whatever. I don't know if it's a bark or anything, but it's lac. I imagine it's, I don't know what it is actually. I put on the screen what it is. So this is, you know, the first dye bath, and then this is like the second dye bath after a lot of the color has been absorbed. So that's really beautiful. And then this is madder. This is probably not from our madder root, because there was only a little bit this year to harvest, because our friend that helps us with gardening sometimes weeded it. So there was only a little bit left, and one of the workshops came and I really wanted to share some. Somebody was interested in it, so she got some of that root. And before my friend weeded it, I had actually dug up some and you know, gifted it. So there's only a tiny little root out there now, and I've got to let it recover, because you really need for it to wait about 3 years to the roots get big. Anyway, so long story short, this is probably a powdered madder. It's not from my garden this year, but this is the first go, and then that's the second. And I think she might have added a little bit of something else to make this orange. It's really quite bright. So I thought that was absolutely beautiful, all on the Galway wool. And then, so these are, and the white, I have lots of this. This actually comes in 250 gram skeins, which gives you about 500 meters, and it's 30 euros DK. So like, it's a really great value, as long as you're fine with rustic wool. I mean, super great, especially for outerwear. But like I said, if you wash it in something like the Eucalan with the lanolin, the leave-in lanolin, you know, if you're not sensitive, you might find it's even fine. Maybe you could put it in a cap. Anyhow, so then I went up to Irish Fiber Crafters, and yay, local yarn shop day. I picked out some more wool to just round out my color choices, because I wanted to keep it festive, and I found this. So this is an Irish wool. It's from Irish Mountain Sheep. So there is talk to make that a recognized breed, but at the minute it's not. But this is from Yarn Vibes, and this isn't naturally dyed. They dyed this yarn. But so this is from Yarn Vibes, and the colorway I think is Kerry Pippin. Yeah, and this is available at Irish Fiber Crafters too. And I'll just let you know, so this has got, it's worsted weight, 150 meters per the 100 grams, and it's organic. This one is organic as well, and it's 18 euros for the 100 grams. And then these ones, all these naturally dyed Galway ones, dyed by Sandra, I think they are 18 euros as well. Yeah, they're 18 euros as well. And they're basically a DK weight too. And then I paired it with, there are only a few of these left in some of the colors. This is a wool from County Tipperary, from a small farm there. And it's, oh, I might have to close the window curtain there because we're getting blown out. It's kind of like that. It's a beautiful, it's a red, a warm kind of red orange that really just plays so nicely with both of these, and it's marled with the natural color of the sheep. With maybe got a little bit of dye on it. And this is the S Twist wool. It's 15 euros for the 100 grams, and it's 150 per 100 grams. But you know, it's all going to play nice together with the DK. So I'm super excited. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to alternate the three colors. So the start of the chart, color one is going to be this each time, because I think this is such a good bridging color, this marl. And then the other three in the chart, I'm going to mix and match as it were. So like one chart, we're going to have this. One chart, we'll have this. So that's my plan anyway. And I worked it all out so that there are actually 3 different combinations for the 6 repeats, if that makes sense. I think. Could be having a brain fart. But that is my plan for the Jericho's Rose. Also, she has in the pattern where you can embroider little flowers on it. And I think that's going to look super nice because my yarns are all solids, semitonals. So, except for the marled. But I think that's going to look really nice. And I have not yet. Once I get it done, I'll decide about what I will embroider and what color I will use. But let me shut that window curtain. Okay, what else am I working on? Oh, I'm not working on that yet, but let me just show you the most beautiful bag. This is by Irish bag maker, My Cottage number 9. Her name is Terry. She's in County Limerick. This fabric's got lovely embroidered flowers on it. The colors are richer than, for whatever reason, we're just blowing out. But, and it has lovely lined, it's got a lovely, really thick lining. This is a high quality bag. And a beautiful big pocket, really thick fabric. But this is going to be my hybrid knit-along for this year, and I will talk about that in the future plans. So my podiversary and my knitiversary are at the beginning of November. So in celebration for that, I gave away a big prize for the participants in the CurioStitches Knit-Along, the CurioStitchesKAL. You can still join that. There are weekly prizes until the 31st of December, and there'll be a bigger physical prize then. And mostly digital prizes as the weekly prizes, the pattern prizes. All you have to do is knit any CurioStitches pattern. Even there's like a free one. The Yule Socks, which are so cute, are coming out. You can knit those as well. I put a little video here, I think. I am working on my new moon slipper socks. I've got the first one done. This is a quick gift knit, the little slipper sock. And the pattern is really cute. It's easy. It doesn't show up with my yarn. But it's by CurioStitches, Ellie of CurioStitches. I was watching her new podcast. Her Yule sock, which is a slip stitch pattern. It comes out on the 1st of December. And that will qualify as well. You can start that because our CurioStitchesKAL is running until the 31st of December, and there will be, there's prizes every week, and then there'll be a bigger prize at the end. So all you have to do is take a photo of the project you're working on, any CurioStitches pattern, including the free ones, and hashtag CurioStitchesKAL or email to Carrie at mywoolmitten. And you'll be in for the weekly drawing, and the later drawing, it's just a whip. You don't have to finish. So yeah, that's going to be a fun sock. But yeah, and just use the hashtag with the picture of your project that you're working on, the yarns you're going to cast on. It's a casual knit along. You don't have to finish. So I give away a prize this week. So I'll be drawing the prize. So, get even if you haven't been able to cast on yet, just show me a picture of your yarn, tell me which pattern, show me your needles, and I'll be picking a prize winner for there. But all that is to say, so for the winner that was close to my knitiversary and podiversary, I gave her a prize of a beautiful bag from My Cottage number 9, beautiful yarns from Knit Crate that were donated by a viewer. The bag, not that bag I showed you, I bought that bag, but My Cottage number 9 donated a bag, a beautiful bag that matched the yarn, and there was a stitch marker and pattern price. So yeah, so that was Jan, and she won that, and so I sent that off to her. But, and I'll put a video there. So you can just see another type of bag that My Cottage number 9 makes. I mean, she's a local maker, and I'm sure she ships internationally. She's on Etsy, and, I just like to talk about things that I think are great. So, okay. And let me just put in here, as I'm talking about prizes, I won a prize, and I want to talk about this podcaster because she was a new to me podcaster, and I find her, she's great. Pardon me. I was so interested. So her name is Athena. Her Chinese name I don't know how to pronounce. And she just uses her English version of her name so people can say it. She lives in Canada, in Vancouver. She's been knitting, I think, for a little over a year. She just completed her PhD defense in something like mechanical engineering and rockets or something. And she's designed some patterns. And I think this is how she does some incredible, she's made some just of other patterns, knit some beautiful fair owl things, and she's designing her own patterns. And I think this is why she's able to design so kind of early on in her knitting career, because I think her brain just works like that. My brain does not work like that. But anyway, so I was really enjoying her podcast. She shares a lot about the Chinese culture and all, and and she asks, are you guys interested in this? And we're all like, yes. And Chinese yarns, we're like, yes. So along with, the things that she's doing here and the yarn she gets here, she's shared some of the Chinese yarns. And she was doing a giveaway. And I won. So I won some yarn from China, like Chinese yarn that Chinese knitters use. And isn't this lovely? So it's a sock yarn. And it's a sock yarn, 70% wool and 30% nylon. Colorway might be early spring. But that's so cute. And something actually I really needed. So a needle case. So my favorite yarns are Chalgu. And first I started off with Knit Pro, the wooden one, Symphony, which I enjoyed as a new knitter. And then I invested in the Chalgu set because I thought I'm just going to invest in the sets rather than buying a bunch of little small needles. But along the way I have gotten other sort of loose needles. And I needed a case. And so I won this case. So, we're just blowing out. So, we have some of the really giant needles that you need for certain projects. Some of the older needles I had. The random needles are in there. It's my wooden needles are in there. When I want to knit with a wooden needle. Hello. Hello, there's Mimi. Hello, what's that? Oh, yes. Hello, that means the front door is open, which, oh, here comes Tom. Ooh, she's telling me they were out and about in the CAR and they did a shop. We got some food. Okay, let's pause. Okay. So here we go again. So, oh yes, so my other finished object, which I fully finished now, are the Golden Wreath Socks by Shy of Witchy Knits podcast here on YouTube. And so I have them both on, and you may be able to, no, you can't see. They are a color work. They have the Aya Partridge heel. I put a picture in there, a color work pattern, super. So if you want to try color work, this is a really good pattern to try. If you have also know how to knit socks, it might be a bit too much to try to do it all together, but it's a very intuitive, easy pattern. You don't have to catch floats. Yeah, I would really recommend this as a first color work pattern. Or if you already know color work and you just want to have a nice easy knit. It's really pretty. And they will be released, I think, around the 1st of December as well. So yeah, I test knit that. And the main yarn is just one I found at a charity shop secondhand, so I don't know what it is. And then the golden yarn is the Golden Colorway by Vera Yarns Designs in her high twist merino. Now, I would not use a high twist, even though people say, oh, high twist is better for socks, but this is 100% merino with no nylon. I would never use that for socks because merino is a soft wool. It's just, I don't care how high the twist is, it's not going to hold up as a sock. For other things, it's fine. And I really like that yarn. I like the high twist merino yarn for all the other things, but just not socks. Anyway, as an aside, and then the kind of white colorway is a leftover from my Stephen West MCAL last year. It was the Life in the Long Grass colorway. And that's just a singles. And again, you'd never use that in a sock. I suppose I should say, so I've used these in a sock, but not in the part that gets, you know, wear. I just use them in the cuff. They're fine in the cuff. So I finished those. And then I cast on another pair of a socky sort of thing for a gift. Pardon me. And this is a slipper sock. And it's the New Moon Slipper Sock by Elspeth Willis of CurioStitches. So this is eligible for the CAL. It's a really nice little pattern. And I've chosen a very variegated yarn for a Christmas, because it's a Christmas sock for a Christmas gift. So you can't really see the pattern. Now the pattern is written toe up, but I just transferred it to top down. And I'm also using the shadow wrap heel because that's my favorite heel. And so I'm doing that. But so that's, yeah, you really can't see the pattern. And the pattern goes all down the top of the foot. But I decided not to do that either, just because you can't see it. So this is the first one that I knit. And again, I did my own toe. I do the umbrella toe, I think it is, that I learned off of Rox Knits on one of her videos. And these are for Tom, so they're quite big. And I just kind of did the pattern up there. And then I've finished the pattern here, and I'm going to start on the heel. And then I'll probably just, I don't know. Yeah, I'll probably just knit straight for that. If you have a not wildly variegated yarn, it's a really nice little stitch pattern. And I think that's just a couple euros on her site. So, or on her site or on Ravelry. And then I also cast on for gift knits because I was like realizing I need some gift knits super fast, because we have some of Tom's family coming from Canada the 3rd of December, and I wanted to make them I was going to make them those slipper socks, but then I thought, our floors are so cold and I need something really, really fast. So I decided to do like a bulky weight pattern, and I found a free one, which I will put the information on the screen and then the drop down because I've forgotten the name of the pattern. But I found this free one, and I tried Hobie yarn. So Hobie is having a great big Black Friday sale. They've been having it for a couple weeks. Basically, I guess it's nearly the whole November, and their Snowstorm 100% wool yarn is a bulky weight singles. So it's kind of like, I think it's kind of like the Alpha Slopey, and the 50-gram balls are about 50 meters, and they were on sale for like €2.33. So I got several of these in Christmas colors to make socks. And what I'm doing is the sock pattern, I think it's actually for super bulky, but I'm holding it, again, this is a Hobie yarn. Yeah, so that's the Snowstorm. 100% wool, yeah, 50 meters in the 50 grams, and it would be a 7 to 8 millimeter needle. And turn this down, it's hot, too hot. And then this Christmas yarn that I got, which is also on the sale, but I can't remember the price right now, is Christmas sock wool glitter. And it says it's a superwash wool on the label, but I think I saw them say on Instagram or something somewhere that actually that's mislabeled, and it's not. It doesn't feel like superwash. Maybe it is, and it's just a rustic wool. But anyway, it is 73% wool, and then 25% polyamide, and 2% the polyester, which is the glittery. 420 meters in the 100 grams, and you would use sort of a 3 millimeter needle. So I've held those together in this pattern, and it's knit flat. Here's the front. I mean, it doesn't look like anything at the minute, but you can see kind of the color change. So we have green, and then the white, and then this is not showing up, but it's like a deep, rich kind of wine red in there. So Yeah, so these will be nice and thick. I might try to felt the bottom. I'm going to experiment with this wool because you can felt it. But yeah, but this is going to knit up really quick. I mean, you'd knit this in a day. So I'm going to definitely make 2 of those, and then I might make some and try to felt them. So I'm working on that at a minute. That's a work in progress. I'm getting ready to, just speaking of gift knits, cast on a hat. So it's the Northsider hat by Sam of an Irish Knitting Podcast. It's his pattern, and he has a free colorwork hat pattern at the minute called the Liffey hat, which I've also downloaded. But this was a paid for one, a few euros. And I'm knitting this for my stepson because he's not a Northsider in Dublin like Sam is, but he's a Northsider in Cork. So I thought the hat pattern, it's just a plain hat pattern. So, but the name fit. And then, so the stepson also is, in his free time, he does Kung Fu, and pole dancing is his new thing because it's, I mean, wow, what a great workout. So he does pole dancing competitions. And one of the characters he dresses up as is Deadpool. And he calls himself Deadpole when he's doing that character. And so I was looking for a yarn that had to do with Deadpool. And I found one, and it was by Lady Pearl Designs on Etsy. And this is a fingering sock weight, 100 grams to 462 yards, and it's a 75 superwash merino and 25 nylon. And the colorway is Time to Make the Chimichangas, which is, Deadpool reference. So isn't it lovely? So you can see I have cakes. I've never had cakes before, but because I've started to do so many jumpers, and it was taking me ages to wind and it was hurting my wrist, so I invested in a ball winder and Swift, just a set that is made out of plastic. But those things are expensive. So, and I wasn't certain how I would really like it. I would love to have a wood one day, but certainly not. It's a lot of money to get a wood one, and I'm going to use that plastic till it gives up. But it worked really well. Worked really well. So I've used it several times, and I like it. So, yeah. So this is going to be the Northsider hat by Samuel. And what else? So what else? Well, you'll have to wait till next weekend because I don't want this video to go so much over an hour. So I'll add the second half as a podcast next week, and you can see what else I'm working on and see the video of the goats and things like that. So have a really good weekend. I hope you have a fantastic December, and I'll talk to you soon with love from Wild Cottage.